Welcome back to Supply Chain Scheduler. In this session, we're going to talk about planning production. Now we get to some of the fun stuff. In the previous sessions, just to kind of recap, we talked about where some of the information is coming from that's going to be used for the production scheduling. The demand drivers, the inventory, the calculated inventory, as well as the beginning inventory and the safety stock. In this particular one, we're using all of that information to generate when we should be making this particular product and how much. Now we're going to break that question down into a couple of different pieces so we can deal with them. Right now you're noticing that we have down here, if you look in this table, we're pulling forward from our parameter sheet what are the scheduling increments that we're using for this particular product. We can change that increment manually. Let's make it 10,600. We'll save that increment, and we're going to go ahead and schedule this. And notice what happens. We're seeing a phenomenon here called cycle stock, where the peaks and the valleys are much deeper, where we're making more at any one time, but we're making it fewer times per year. There's a consequence for making product over and over again, especially if you're block operating the equipment. You have to change out from one product to another. You have to set up with new materials. There might be some retooling of your equipment. So there's a certain amount of penalty of lost capacity every time that you set up your equipment. If you have dedicated equipment or in a chemical plant, it's just a matter of tweaking some knobs basically in order to change the characteristics of a product. But in the case of most other manufacturing, we do have to do some retooling and some adjustments of our materials, maybe even bring them up to the shop floor for use. There's a lot of other setup issues and changeover issues that occur when you have multiple products made on the same equipment. So there's always a trade-off between your inventory levels and your setup times, and the bigger consequence is lost capacity in most cases. So you do want to have fewer campaigns. And at this level that we're at right now, about 10,000, making it every third week, that's actually a pretty good number. So how would we know if that's a good number? So if we were to save this particular one, I'm going to save this schedule, and then I'm going to run another program here that's going to check my capacity of the equipment that's being used here. Now notice what happened here. I have certain weeks here, the red ones. It's using 2 work centers, and these work centers are getting overloaded in the particular weeks when I would most optimally make this. Going back again, if I was to bring this back to 5,000, let's see what our situation was here. Let's save that increment, and we'll schedule it again. All right, now we're making it more often. Save the plan, and let's check the capacity again. Now notice how much cleaner this is, and that's because I already knew ahead of time that if we made too much in any one week, we were going to have a problem here. But this has to be done in concert with the other products that need to be made on those particular work centers. So having a certain amount of knowledge about your equipment and its capability and the loading that's going on here is certainly going to help in being able to come up with your production schedule. So we're looking at 2 issues: when the product is needed, triggered by the safety stock. We're picking a lot size, trying to trade off with inventory level versus our changeover costs, which is our lost capacity as well as maybe wasted material and starting up on a new product. And then we check the capacity of other products that are being made on the same equipment. There is another one that we're not introducing yet. We'll talk about it a later time, and that's with raw material availability. If we don't have the raw material available, all it takes is one component that's not available for that product during that time, then you're out of luck. So there's also a constraint factor of having the raw material at your work center at the right time, or even maybe it's not even in the plant yet for that matter. All right, that's a little bit about production planning for now, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.